Captain Ryland stood stiffly in the hangar bay, scratching his jaw under the dull glare of the colony's overhead lights. He had been briefed that the alien delegation's gift was arriving, though the files were vague, cryptic even, as if the universe itself were playing a cosmic joke. A shuttle hummed into view, its hull glinting like liquid metal, and Ryland tried to look intimidating, though his boots squeaked embarrassingly on the polished floor. The hatch opened, and out stepped a figure so human-like it almost made him blink. Almost. She had delicate features, soft skin that caught the light in a strange, almost iridescent shimmer, and long, slender ears that arched gracefully above her head, twitching nervously at every sound. The alien woman froze, eyes wide, scanning him like he was a predator from some nightmare story she'd been told on her homeworld. "You eat?" she whispered, voice quivering, a hand pressed to her chest. Her words carried both fear and disbelief, as if she had been expecting a monster but found a man instead. Ryland blinked. "Eat? I'm more likely to burn my own dinner than, well, I mean." He waved his hands awkwardly, realizing how ridiculous it sounded. "I can't even make toast without triggering a fire alarm." Her ears flicked back, doubt and caution warring with curiosity. Every muscle in her body screamed to flee. She leapt behind a crate like a startled cat, peeking out with wide eyes as if he were some kind of alien wolf in human disguise. Ryland raised his hands in mock surrender. "Look, I don't bite. I'm terrible at it if I did." He grinned sheepishly. "Mostly, I just grumble a lot and misplace my helmet." Liara's suspicion didn't ease, but a twitch of her ears betrayed a flicker of amusement. She whispered something incomprehensible under her breath, which Ryland guessed was some kind of alien curse or, hopefully, a word for, "This human is ridiculous." He took a cautious step forward. "I promise, no human rituals involving strange sauces or interstellar barbecues. Unless you count my attempt at Pancake Day, it was catastrophic." For a long moment, she stared, her lithe frame tense, ears angled like delicate radar dishes. Then a sudden misstep. Ryland tripped over a panel and crashed into a supply crate, sending a small stack of magnetic toolkits spinning across the floor. Sparks flew, and Liara's eyes went wide. But instead of running, she flinched. Then a tiny laugh escaped her lips, a sound so musical it caught Ryland off guard. "See," he said, picking himself up. "I am dangerous, mostly to myself." Her fear softened, replaced by cautious curiosity. Step by step, she moved from behind the crate, testing the waters, each ear twitch a signal of her thoughts. Ryland held out a hand, awkward and sincere. "I'm Ryland, and you're Liara, right?" "I think that's right." Her cautious nod made him grin. "Good. Now, let's see if we can survive this introduction without me causing another minor disaster." As they navigated the hangar, with Liara jumping at shadows and Ryland tripping over wires, a fragile, humorous bond began to form. She had expected monsters. He was a clumsy human. The universe, it seemed, had delivered them exactly what neither had anticipated. And somewhere beneath her twitching ears, a seed of trust was starting to grow. Ryland led Liara through the winding corridors of the frontier colony, the hum of anti-gravity lifts and the soft whirring of service drones filling the air. She clutched the edges of her cloak nervously, long ears angled like twin antennae, scanning every flickering light and sliding panel as if the walls themselves might erupt into danger. Ryland, sensing her tension, made a deliberate show of bumping into a console, sending a harmless holographic display spinning into an awkward swirl. "See? Technical hazards everywhere. You never know when a rogue coffee machine might attack." Liara's ears twitched, suspicion flickering in her wide eyes, though she let out a soft snort that sounded suspiciously like laughter. The colony was a chaotic mix of humans, robots, and strange xenotech devices that seemed to operate with a mischievous mind of their own. Liara kept stepping back from glowing floors, hovering carts, and tiny maintenance drones that zipped past, her long ears flicking with alarm at each movement. Ryland noticed her fascination with the small, absurd details, a vending machine that dispensed not food but small holographic stars, a cleaning drone that insisted on chasing its own tail. Humans are complicated, he muttered, grinning as a broom-like robot swung past and narrowly missed his head. Mostly harmless, though occasionally suicidal. Liara's fear began to loosen with each comical incident. She followed Rylan into the mess hall, where humans were juggling trays of neon-colored nutrients and arguing over the merits of synthetic coffee. She froze, expecting some elaborate ritual or aggressive behavior, but Rylan waved at her, laughing. Nothing here will eat you, I promise. Unless you count my cooking attempts. Trust me, you do not want to be present for Pancake Day. He mimicked flipping a pancake with exaggerated flair, sending a holographic projection flying off the wall. Liara's ears twitched in amusement, and a small laugh escaped her lips, breaking the tension like sunlight through a storm. They wandered into the training bay, a room filled with holographic simulations and zero-gravity pods. Liara watched the humans awkwardly float and stumble, their movements clumsy but earnest. Rylan gestured toward one pod. Want to try zero-G? He asked, feigning solemnity. Liara hesitated, then gave a tiny shrug, curiosity winning over fear. Rylan guided her in, and she floated awkwardly, her ears streaming behind her like ribbons in water. She let out a squeak when she bumped into a console, and Rylan drifted over to steady her, joking, "Careful! Gravity is optional here, but dignity is mandatory." For the first time, Liara relaxed, her ears swiveling in delight rather than alarm. They shared a series of small triumphs and absurd mishaps, tripping over invisible wires, dodging malfunctioning drones, and laughing at Rylan's exaggerated demonstrations of human prowess. Slowly, she began to understand that his humor was his weapon, that laughter and patience were more powerful than fear. Each joke, each clumsy stumble, peeled away her terror, revealing a universe of absurdity and wonder, where humans were strange, often ridiculous, but not cruel. By the time they returned to the shuttle bay for a brief rest, Liara's posture had softened, her ears relaxed rather than stiff with dread. She even dared a teasing remark about Rylan's tendency to trip over everything, and he grinned in return, thinking that perhaps the universe had a sense of humor after all. The seeds of trust had been sown, nurtured by clumsiness, jokes, and the slow, careful unwrapping of fear. The alarm blared in the command center, a shrill, insistent wail that sent Liara flinching and her long ears flattening against her head. She had misread the routine training simulation as an attack, convinced that Rylan's human hospitality had a hidden, deadly edge. She darted behind the console like a frightened shadow, eyes darting between blinking panels and the grumbling soldier she was sure had sinister plans. "Stay back," she hissed, pointing a trembling finger. "I know you're kind. You humans, you." Her words faltered as Rylan, calm as ever, drifted toward her with hands raised, his gravity boots squeaking in protest. "I swear," he said, voice steady, "the only thing I'm planning to eat is leftover rations, and even that's risky business." He gestured dramatically to a crate of prepackaged nutrition cubes. One fell out, bounced on the floor, and he muttered, "Oops, that was my lunch, or yours. Technically, anyone's if they survive my cooking." Liara's ears twitched, skepticism warring with a tiny spark of amusement. In the chaos, Rylan had an idea. He grabbed a small maintenance drone and sent it buzzing toward her, projecting a holographic image of himself tripping over a mop and landing face first in a puddle of cleaning gel. Liara couldn't help but snort, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. "Is that human technique?" she asked, curiosity lacing her fear. "Yes," Rylan said, grinning from inside the drone projection. "Highly effective for comedic relief and terrifying nobody. Bonus points if you make the spectators laugh." Liara's lips twitched, then a soft, musical laugh escaped her, and the first real smile curved her face. The illusion of threat shattered. She saw the truth beneath the awkward gestures and self-deprecating humor. Humans weren't monsters. They were clumsy, sometimes absurd, but not cruel. As the simulation ended, The delegation's holographic envoy appeared on the main screen, confirming that Liara's presence had always been intended as a gesture of trust, not prey. Rylan looked at her, relief and pride mixing in his tired eyes. See? Not a trap. You're the gift, but not in the way you thought. You're a bridge. Liara's ears twitched, now with excitement instead of fear. She stepped closer, reaching a hand toward Rylan, and for the first time in days, she let herself relax completely. Bridge. I like that, she murmured. I misjudged you. Rylan shrugged, a grin tugging at the corners of his mouth. I misjudge myself all the time. That's part of the charm. He gestured toward the colony beyond the bay, bustling with lights, drones, and humans bumping into each other with ridiculous enthusiasm. Welcome to the frontier. Don't worry, just don't touch my lunch. Liara laughed, the sound mingling with the hum of the colony, and for a moment, it felt as though the universe itself was joining in their mirth. She had come expecting cruelty, but she found humor, patience, and unexpected kindness. Rylan, the soldier who had thought he was simply fulfilling a duty, had discovered a companion, someone whose cautious curiosity and gentle wit challenged him in ways he hadn't anticipated. Together, they stepped onto the observation deck, looking out at the swirling colors of the distant nebula, lights dancing like stars trapped in glass. The frontier was vast and unpredictable, but neither would face it alone. Liara's ears flicked playfully as she nudged Rylan with an elbow. You humans are strange, she said. And yet somehow, Rylan replied, we survive, mostly intact. They laughed, and for the first time, the galaxy didn't feel quite so lonely.